my name is Elena, and this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I love the paranormal, and I really wanted to do a podcast with a friend, just telling each other ghost stories, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to go about it. Then I had an idea to combine my love for gaming with my love of ghost stories, and my wonderful friend is allowing me to host these cute little spooky ghost telling events within her GTA RP server. So today is episode 1, Haunted Homes. It's gonna be probably the month after, so that's why I did these two. So the first one is, it's the Axe Murder House, and it's in Villisca, Iowa. So I guess I'll just like go into the history of how it became haunted, and then like what people typically get when they go there to investigate. So on June 9th of 1912, the Moore family, Josiah Moore, Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Mary, Arthur, and Paul, were attending a church event, Children's Day, in which Sarah actually helped coordinate the evening. And then it was said that evening around 9:30, along with 2 neighbor girls that were spending the night, Ina, May, and Lena, they were walking to the Moore's house, and then they were supposed to arrive around, because it's a small town. Everyone knows everyone, so they arrived between 9:45 to 10 p.m. And then the next morning, their neighbor, Mary Beckham, I guess it was a normal thing to be a nosy neighbor in 1912, but she was concerned because it was 7 a.m. and none of the like house chores were done, and they're like, the chickens are not let out. What the hell is going on? No one is up. It's 7 a.m. Apparently people were supposed to be up by like 5 a.m. All good. Anyway, so she went and knocked on the door and nothing happened. And then she tried to just open the door because apparently that's normal, and the door was locked. So then she called their Josiah's brother, and then she went and let out the chickens in the backyard or whatever, wherever it was at, in the barn on the side of the house. And so Ross, Josiah's brother, came with a spare key, and he knocked and was yelling and no answer. So he unlocked the door, and then when you the house, you go in, and then to the left there's the guest room. When you go open the door, it's like to the kitchen, and then it's like a weird looking house. You can look it up if you want, and then he sees the 2 neighbor girls, the Sillinger sisters. Oh, dead bodies. It is brutal, so I'm so sorry. But he unlocked the door, searched the home, and then he revealed the entire family, along with the 2 sisters, have been brutally murdered via bludgeoned to death with an axe. The axe was Josiah's, confirmed, and was found in the guest room where the 2 sisters have slept. And then according to the reports, the murders had to have been taking place between midnight and 5 a.m. And there were also reports finding that there were cigarettes in the attic. So the theory is that the killer stayed in the attic until everyone went to sleep, which is terrifying because, like,
Grandma.
What the fuck? Yeah, grandma.
Yeah, grandma.
Then the killer started with Josiah and Sarah. It said that Josiah had the most blows from the axe, so the theory is that it had something against him and that the killer was actually after him. It was said that he had so much happen to his face that both of his eyes were missing. And then there's also axe marks still on like the ceiling and the walls that are still on the walls to this day. Like they've never been, like they never replaced the walls. Sarah was murdered by the blade end of the axe, and the rest of the victims were hit by the blunt end. So I don't know why, but yeah. After the 4 children were murdered, it's been said that the killer went back to the parents' room and began hitting them with the axe again, which I don't really know how they would know that, but science, I guess. And then here's like the really gross part. I don't really want to get into it too much because this is supposed to be about the paranormal and not like the case. But after he murdered them, he covered up them. I think I forgot to put it in, but I think he covered the mirrors, but he also covered them as well with the like white sheets. But it was confirmed that the two Stilling sisters' bodies were moved and they were like posed in a certain way. Then there was also a 4-pound slab of bacon that was taken out of the icebox and laid next to the axe. And there's also a few different theories of what he used the meat for that I will not be getting into. There's also untouched food and the bloody water discovered in the search. Investigators believe that all victims except for Lena were asleep because Lena looked like she had self-defense wounds. It was proven false. There's no sexual assault that was taken place apparently, but it was 1912, so I mean DNA wasn't really a thing. And the thing that really is crazy is that when Ross discovered the bodies, he called the town marshal, Hank, and this motherfucker Hank let everybody in. So it was a small town and everyone knew everybody, and so they knew what was going on. They decided he thought it would be a good idea to let the town people go through the house like a little tour guide. Like, oh, these guys were just murdered. Let's look at the crime scene, guys. Like, what the hell?
To destroy all the evidence.
Yeah, and then he also allowed them to touch the murder weapon. So if there even was DNA on it that could have been retested in this day and age, if it was preserved properly, it's just gone because 100 people touched the axe. Insane. Like, what the hell?
Compromise all the evidence.
Right.
Do you think the nosy neighbor took the bacon?
Oh God, I hope not.
What the hell they was doing with the bacon?
You can look it up at yourself with the theories, but I don't really want to go into it because it's not something
so
I'd want to talk about. All right, so let's talk about the suspects a little bit because it does play in a part of what people get when they like ask the spirit box and stuff. So the first suspect, I'm not gonna go into too much detail, just kind of summarize everything. There were oh my God, can I talk? 6 suspects in total. The first one is Frank Jones, who employed Josiah and felt upset that Josiah opened his own store and started his own company. And then also there was a rumor that Josiah had been having an affair with Frank's daughter-in-law. So they believe they hired William Blackie Mansfield to do a hit job. And an interesting fact that in 1916, William was actually arrested for the murders of his wife, infant, father, and mother-in-law. And that happened in 1914, but he was arrested in 1916. And then another suspect is Andrew Sawyer, and he was a homeless transient man. But in that time, anyone that was not unaccounted for, like a homeless man, a guy that was just passing through that nobody knew, they were all suspects. So anyways, okay, where was I? Sorry, I lost my spot. So according to his employer, Thomas Dreyer, Andy slept next to an axe. And according to Thomas's son, while they drove through Villisca, they told Andy was like, dude, let me show you how the killer killed that Moore family. Let me show you what he did, how he got into the house, what he jumped over to escape. I don't know, like a fucking freak. Anyways. And then another suspect was Joe Rick. Joe got arrested in Illinois and stepped off the train in Monmouth. I think that's how it said. As he stepped off the train, his shoes were covered in blood with and this crime actually took off the Titanic off of all of the newspapers, international or national. Yeah. Throughout the whole United States, this murder was like so brutal. It just wiped the Titanic off of all of the newspapers, so everyone knew about it. So when he stepped off the train with all the blood all over him, they of course reported it. But because the niece of Josiah Moore stated that that was not the man who came up and asked her where the Moores stayed, he got cleared. And then the last suspect, which is probably the most interesting, is Reverend George Kelly. So George was a traveling preacher and he attended the Children's Day program on June 9th. George apparently posed as an investigator for Scotland Yard to get inside of the house. According to reports, there had also been a bloody shirt that he sent to the dry cleaners within the following week after the murders. George suffered from schizophrenia and a reputation for peeping into windows. And then, according to reports, the detectives didn't think he could be responsible for the crimes due to being 5'2". But like they were sleeping and he had an axe. So like I don't really think that his fucking height matters.
Has anything to do with it?
But he did confess, but however it was coerced. So both trials ended without him being charged, one in a hung jury and the other in a mistrial. And the theory that everyone has is that he is possessed by a demon, probably because he has schizophrenia, and in 1912 that mental illness was not looked at. So now that the history, I'll get into the paranormal. So in 2014, a paranormal investigator brought a knife as a trigger object, even though he was told specifically not to. He reported to saw like a flash of light, and then woke up in the hospital with a self-inflicted wound that he stated he did not remember, which would be terrifying. And then in Ghost Adventures in season 4, episode 12, they received footsteps. They received EVPs, which is like the little voice recorders. They played it back, and it was saying I killed 6 kids in like a question. They also had a door shut on camera, and when they asked the murderer's name, it replied Andy in the spirit box. When they asked tell me what your name is, the spirit box said Lena, and then Paul, and then it also asked if they wanted to play. And then a creepy voice came in through the spirit box that said, let's keep them in the dark. Destination Fear, now Project Fear, also went into this house, and they had a few MVPs, music boxes go off. However, when they asked who the killer was, it said the Reverend. And then a few other investigators got told things as run, I had to run, look in the attic, angry, I told you no, do it. And many speculate that it's the killer, George Kelly, arguing with his demon. And then you can apparently hear women's screams, footsteps, door shutting, REM pods going off, music box go off, with no one in the room. And then the second story I wanted to do is a place that I will be going to next month. March 7th is when I'm going. And it's the Edinburgh Manor. And I totally forgot what town it is, but it's also in Iowa. And so the Edinburgh Manor was a poor farm, and a poor farm is literally what it is. It's a farm who housed the poor, or they called it incurably insane, but I know they don't use the word insane anymore. Then of course, disabled, that is so sad, but people, parents that couldn't take care of or didn't want to take care of, just kind of abandoned them at this farm, and they would do labor for shelter and food. And it was described at the time a comfortable retreat for lazy, able-bodied, and unwillingly dependent applicants, which is like literally not even close to the truth. Yeah, it's horrible. It's so sad. And then in Destination Fear, it stated that the farm opened in 1846, but when I was doing my research, I could not find that date. I only found, especially on the direct website, it was 1910 through 1911 is when they built it and opened it. So I don't know where they got 1846, but I thought I'd throw it in there. And with it being such a general area, there is no proper care. So there definitely wasn't proper like wards for the different people to be in different places. So they were all together. So the general public, the people with disabilities, mental illness, they were all put together. The conditions were so bad, people wanted to escape any way they could. It's said that there's 250 documented deaths, but there is a theorized that there's a lot more. Because, it was also around 1912, kind of around the same time. So documents were not really a thing. And this is really sad, but one woman jumped out of a 2-story window to try to find help, But I forgot to mention that this place is in the middle of the woods, in the middle of cornfields. There's nowhere to go. And then other people were cutting their own throats, hanging themselves in other tragic, gruesome ways. And according to the direct website for the manor, yeah, like I said, they're the documented deaths, but there's a lot to be more. The manor finally closed its doors in 2010. I feel like that is so recent.
Oh my God.
Why was it
Yes.
allowed to be like in operation for that long?
People kept showing up.
Yeah, I guess it's insane. Okay, so let's talk about the
He said
spirits
people kept
that
showing up.
I'm gonna be encountering when I go there, hopefully. Actually, I kind of don't want anything to happen. I'm really scared. But the first floor, there is a little girl reportedly goes by the name Susie, but I did read a few articles that also named Sally and Sarah, so something with an S name. But when I watched Ghost Adventures and Destination Fear, and then I also watched a couple more episodes for other YouTubers, they all call her Susie, but I just wanted to throw that in there. She likes to play with you, so you can hear her run around you and mess with toys that you bring. Like, I know a lot of people bring the cat ball. She likes to mess with those, the music box, and you can also reportedly feel her tugging on your clothes.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
No,
Is she just lonely? She wants some friends.
people actually bring toys too.
Yeah. And then something that was mentioned on Destination Fear episode that I couldn't really find anywhere else is that there are two rooms. One is a red room and one is a blue room, and apparently somehow they're connected, and they don't really know how, but it said that if you split up, someone is in the blue room, someone's in the red room, they'll report them being really, really hot, and then the other room is reported to get really, really cold. So it's like the opposite is happening in those rooms, and somehow they're connected. And then it's also said that if you go quiet for a while, you can hear a man and a woman arguing with each other. And then another ghost on the first floor is a janitor. Apparently had hung himself on the door with a belt, and people who enter the room feel negative feelings, uneasy, and see shadow figures wandering around the first floor. The basement. This is what I'm so scared of. I don't want to encounter this person or thing. The dark entity named is the Joker. He's known for grabbing and choking, causing uneasy feelings, which you're in a fucking building that's abandoned in the middle of the woods that has a very tragic history. I don't think that there's a way that you can escape and like those uneasy feelings regardless, but yeah. So an owner of the building was attempting to sleep overnight in the room 200, and he said he felt pressure on his big toe as if someone was squeezing it, and his dog growled and barked with his hair standing up. And then a week later, his nephew and a friend of his investigated, and an EVP had caught something that stated, "I grabbed you." And yeah, it's so creepy. And apparently in the
That's so
same
creepy.
spot, it's been reported that there's a female figure in a white dress. And then also an apparition of a tall male with a brown cowboy type hat in the basement kitchen. And then one last one that I could really find is that a female investigator was in the basement, and she felt like a really bad burn on her back of her neck, and when they looked, there was like a gigantic red mark. So I'm going to be visiting that place on the 7th, so of course I'll let you guys know what happens if anything happens.
Don't do it.
Why?
Well, I was
You better
supposed to
protect your toes.
go to the Velisca house, but then Ghost Adventures bought it and doubled the price. Fuckers. And so this place is, because I promised my mom for her birthday, because she's always wanted to go. So then I found this place, and it seems even scarier. So
Okay, so make extra sets of the car keys, put them on top of the visor. Each one of you have keys. Usually in weird situations, nobody can ever find the car keys.
yeah, like in movies and stuff. Yeah, I'm more scared. I'm not scared of the ghost. I'm more scared of being in the middle of the cornfields. Like I don't want to die. It's like what the fuck is a ghost gonna do to me? But like a person, I think that's way more
Choke you
scarier.
and pull at your shirt? That's what a ghost's gonna do. Wake up and squeeze your big toe? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I feel
Children of
like
the
a
Corn.
lot of I believe in ghosts, but I feel like a lot of the times when you're going to a place, you already have in your mind that you're scared and you're nervous, and a lot of times like the touching and the feeling is just in your mind. You know, but I want to experience for myself. I want to know if these TV shows are fake, if these YouTubers are fake. I need to know.
Well, yeah, if you're susceptible to it, you're susceptible.
Yeah. So I also was
Hey, excuse me. I need some damn waters.
You need
Ah.
a snack.
Waters.
wait,
You
what?
need something to drink, buddy?
Okay.
I don't know. I would be freaked the
Okay,
hell
okay.
out to go somewhere creepy like that.
You
Mm-mm.
are lying, Karen. Karen's been in abandoned prisons.
A bit prisons, that's so cool.
But not a cornfield, bro. I've
been in
watched Children
caves.
of the Corn.
You've been in
You know
caves.
that was set in Iowa. That was based for Iowa. I googled it, and Stephen King wrote it. Like it was happening in Iowa, like based in Iowa or some shit like that.
Is there a movie on this?
Yeah. Children
Batman
of the Corn.
came from bats and caves. Maybe I was trying to be a superhero, but I'm not trying to be in a cornfield with a bunch of scary little kids.
Yeah, that's why Los Santos doesn't have kids.
Okay, so I was getting some Reddit stories because I felt like those weren't too scary, but I wanted like, you know, scary stories. So I'm gonna read like 2 stories of that. Let me find them real quick.
So let's go back to the first murder. I really think the guy that slept with the axe probably did it. Like,
You think
who
he did
sleeps
that?
with an axe,
Yeah.
bro?
Worried about
The one that was covered in blood and ran
Yeah,
across
like,
the
come
world
on.
covered in blood.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. With
I
axes
don't
and shit. Come
know.
on, bro.
Yeah, he got
It's-
lucky.
It's so
Oh,
there's like so many people that could it be. It's so crazy.
Did you get your drink, Draco?
Oh. Sir, are you okay?
Let us know.
Okay. All right, so I kind of thought this one was a little funny, but it says I think I dated a girl who was possessed. So a few years ago, I got home from school and decided to look for some girl on Tinder to go out with that night. It was 7 p.m. at Friday. So I matched with a girl who was mentioning things related to smoking weed in the profile description. So I decided to start a conversation. After a few minutes, she told me that she really liked to smoke weed that day and that she thought she was... What the hell? What's he doing? Okay. So I decided to call her out that night to get something to eat, drink some beers, later smoke some weed in my car. She accepted and sent her WhatsApp number and location where she was. So I took a shower, changed my clothes, got in the car and the location, and went towards her. It took a while for her to oh my god, I cannot speak. I took a while to find her street, but after a few attempts, I found her talking to a friend on the sidewalk as she recognized me and then entered my car. After she got in the car, I tried to start a conversation with her, and strangely, she didn't say anything. I was basically talking by myself the entire time. She rarely said okay, and sometimes she agreed, shaking her head, that's all. At the moment, thought, well, she must be shy, no problem. So I took her to a snack bar. I talked to her for a while. We were eating. She didn't say anything. She just ate and nothing. So I gave up and stopped talking. I don't know why this... Sorry, the funny part is coming up. So after eating some snacks and drinking some beers in absolute silence, I invited her to smoke a joint in my car. And she said, okay. And we went to a deserted street where I parked my car. And after I sat back in the seat, we smoked together. At the time, I thought, I hope this will get her more relaxed and maybe she we'll start talking. After some posts, she looked more relaxed, but still quiet. And we eventually started to kiss each other and we had sex in the car. The weird part is when we were having sex, she started behaving really weird and it started scaring me a bit. Like she was looking me directly in the eyes with a weird angry expression as if she was not the same person. And when that happened, I thought she was just high or something and didn't care much because I was also high. But then after I just left her at the same point where I found her, on the street house. Oh my god. The street in front of her house. And after that, I got to my house. The next day I was sober and I was thinking about her facial expressions while we were in the car and found it very strange that she grabbed my head with both hands and was staring at me in the eyes with a bizarre expression of anger, and her eyes were really wide and her mouth was like kind of smiling. Anyways, I decided to follow her on social media to get to know more about her. And the most of her posts were really random and weird stuff. Like, for an example, a lot of pictures of cardboard sheets and random phrases written in really bad English. We are from Brazil and we only speak Portuguese. Like, for example, I love where you heart our God, us kill him. Where will us we continue? Each sheet full of random stuff like that. And then one day she started talking a lot about her personal life on Instagram stories. She said that she had a baby that she loved. She was enjoying to be in banda. I do not know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. But it's an African religion that is quite common here in Brazil. And she was happy to be talking again with her grandma who was already dead. And then she talked about something that made me understand everything that happened in the car that night. She said that whenever she's high, she gets possessed by the spirit of her grandma, and she really enjoys that. So I connected the dots and realized she probably was under the influence of her grandma the night. After she started posting pictures of her face on Instagram that looked really scary, like she was possessed by the spirit or something. In one of her pictures, her jaw was really wide open, and if it was broken and her eyes were all white, it sent chills under my spine when I saw that. And after seeing all that stuff, I decided to unfollow her on social media and block her number so she cannot contact me anymore. And I'm not sure if she's just making all that stuff up. To be honest, I'm not really interested in contacting her and finding out.
Nah, grandma slept in. She slept in and got some.
Okay, grandma.
Yeah, that I only read like half of it and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to the story, so I did not read that part. Let me find the other one.
All right, so dating apps, sleep with grandma. Is grandma, she in the house?
Yeah, grandma just wanted to be let out and have a good time. That's
Better
it.
leave grandma at home.
Okay. So this is probably gonna be my last one because they're so long. But it's called The Warning, and I thought it was really cool. So it goes, due to the nature of my job, I will be changing the names of everyone involved and or affected by one of the most terrifying nights I've ever had. The things that I'm about to share actually happened to me while at work. I am what's known as a personal care attendant or direct support worker. I work one-on-one with disabled clients. My client at the time was around 29 years old and was in a freak accident 3 years prior. He was accidentally shot in the neck by a stray bullet when he was sitting outside on his grandpa's porch, leaving him paralyzed. Sorry, I cannot speak. I have worked with him for many years. He lived in my cousin's home with his 4 daughters. At the time, I worked from 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. while my cousin was at work. I do everything my client is unable to do, like housework, cooking, daily tasks he needs help with, as well as taking care of his 4 kids. After I put all the kids to bed and got Nate settled in for the night, I went through the house to make sure all the lights were turned off and all the doors were locked. They had security system as well, but for some reason I forgot to arm it at that time. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and I went to my cousin's bedroom to watch a movie on my laptop before going to sleep. About an hour into the movie, I headed into the kitchen for something to drink. It was dark, but I'm used to the layout, so it didn't bother turning on the lights. When I heard a sound coming from the front door, I didn't immediately recognize it. It was a doorknob rattling. I have experienced a lot of paranormal activity over the years in the house, and I peeked out just to see if someone was at the door, but I didn't see anyone. So I assumed it was just that. I checked all the doors, windows, make sure everyone was okay, and went back to the bedroom to finish my movie. After about 10 minutes, my laptop started acting up. It froze. It was making really, really strange, high-pitched noises I've never heard before. I restarted it, and it did it again. I shrugged it off and decided I was getting tired anyway and thought about going to bed. I started to lay down when I heard footsteps in the hallways heading in the direction of the kids' room in the bedroom I was in. So I got up, flipped the light on, and peeked out to the door. No one. But again, I walked through the house, checking on everyone, making sure everything was locked up. I started feeling very, very anxious at this point, and I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep. So I turned on the TV and the volume down so I didn't disturb everyone. When I heard a very familiar voice say my name, it sounded exactly like my dad, except my dad has been passed away for nearly 10 years. I sat up and looked around the room. Again, no one. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to sleep at all tonight. The activity was kicking up more than usual, so I decided to use their voice recorder to figure out what was going on. I captured the voice of a young boy. My client's children are all 4 girls. After asking some questions, it sounded like he said, "Need to be careful." I tried to ask more questions, but I was so tired. Out of the corner of my eye, in the reflection of a large picture frame, I saw something move. I also heard the movement and turned around. I couldn't see anything in front of me, but I swear to God, I could see my uncle, who has also been passed away for a few years prior, reflection in the glass picture frame. And then I heard him say, "You can't go to sleep."
Time to go, bro.
I'm a paranormal investigator, and not a lot freaks me out, but I'd never experienced this kind of activity. It was close to 2 a.m. at this point, and almost 3 hours of constant, unexplained activity. I decided I've had enough. I walked over to the nightstand, grabbed the remote, and armed the security system. Pushed the button to arm it, and thought, this is crazy. I just need to get some sleep. It's fine. I'm just making it all in my head. Then I lost my place.
The suspense.
Like, I'm getting chills all over my body because I'm scared. I just need to get some sleep. I had to be up in a few hours to get the girls ready for school. Anyways, I stuck my knee on the bed, and that exact moment someone kicked in the back door to the house, which was located in the kitchen. The security system went off. It was extremely loud. The lights were flashing all over outside the house. I grabbed my phone, ran toward the open back door. I didn't see anyone, and dialed 911. One of my biggest fears is someone breaking in, and as I was on the phone to check, making sure everyone was all right, and there wasn't actually anyone in the house, my cousin called because the security system company had called him, of course, because of the alarm being triggered, and I told him it was probably an accident. I told him I'd call him back. I told him to call back. Someone just kicked your fucking door in, and I'm not turning this alarm system off until the police get here. We've never found out who tried breaking in the house, but you can't convince me that all the paranormal activity I experienced that night was not a warning about what was going to happen that night. It was truly as if they were purposely doing things to get my attention so I wouldn't forget to set the alarm, keeping me awake. I'm not really afraid of paranormal activity. It's a living I tend to worry about. And that is it. That's scary.
That shit is scary.
Yeah, I would have left. I would have been like, all right, man, I'm out.
The kids fend for themselves.
Yeah, I'll see
Yeah,
y'all
man.
at the destination.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Yeah, because she didn't say somebody came in. She said somebody kicked
Someone
the back
kicked
door.
the door in.
Yeah, and they don't even know if it was an actual human. Like, what if it was another ghost or something?
No,
Gosh.
it's time to go. I would have quit. I would have been
would've
like,
quit.
yo, so these kids are by themselves up in this house, right? And I'm driving down the road. Somebody need to go check on them.
Right? They didn't brought one of their little invisible friends home with them.
Shit. So what had happened
I'm
was
cool.
little Timmy brought a +1.
Drop dead Fred. You know.
Yeah, no, that would be so scary, especially in someone else's house. I don't know.
It's some pretty creepy stories.
Thank you. I tried. Research is difficult. But yeah, I'm excited. And the next week I'm gonna do bridges and caves. So I'm excited for that. It's gonna be even creepier than this one. But
I'm so glad I brought a flashlight.
yeah.
For real, because I might need a ride home from somebody. I wrecked my bike.
Oh no, where is it wrecked at?
Oh, it's all the way. It's all the way.
Oh, shit.
It's
Yeah,
ashes.
I wrecked in a
it's
ditch.
ashes now.
Yeah, I wrecked in that
Hey,
ditch
y'all
right
trying to
there.
buy some drugs? Any
Sheesh.
Some drugs? Sure, drugs are fun.
what you say?
Ooh, I'll take some LSD right now.
You guys want to do drugs, but you're too scared
Well,
to drive
you just
home?
told us a whole
LSD
bunch
after
of
the
scary
spooky
stories.
stories?
We
Yeah,
don't
you
want to
got
be in
some-
reality, bro.
Yeah, I need some.
I was so nervous I couldn't even speak, and you can probably hear me breathing in and out. I didn't introduce myself or have a proper intro on stream, which is why I'm doing it here. If you like the paranormal or you just want to come along for adventures while getting scared, you can watch here on YouTube every Saturday morning, or you can watch it live on Twitch every Friday night at 9 p.m. CST. And I hope you enjoy the video. So much more to come. I'm so excited.